Now, we can make this even simpler here. You see how we're repeating this equation basically, and we're just changing the value of the first number. When we see something like this happening, this is a good use case for a function or a mixin. Now let's do a quick search in Google for SASS function. The top result is from this site called thesassway.com, which has some great articles about SASS. Let's go to it. And if we scroll down, we can see what a mixin is, and then we can continue scrolling down to see what a function is. Now the goal of both of them is to allow us to provide a value to some snippet of code and return a different value. In the case of a mixin, the return will always be a CSS rule. So for example, this is how you define a mixin. It's pretty simple. You use the @mixin keyword, the name of the mixin, and you can choose whatever you want for that. And then you take a number of parameters. In this case, there's just one. And then it returns some CSS rules. In this case, it's just one property, padding, being set to the number being passed to it. And the way we use this is by using the @include keyword. We've used this before with partials, and then we use the name of the mixin and we pass in a value, in this case 10 pixels. So 10 pixels will go into this mixin and it will return padding and then 10 pixels. Right down here is what the output actually looks like. Now a function is a little bit different because it can return simple values instead of CSS rules. So for example, here's a function being defined with the @function keyword. There's the name of the function, which you get to decide, and then the parameters. In this case, it takes 2 parameters. And then within this function, what it will do is add these 2 numbers together, some number plus another number, and it will return it with the @return keyword. And so if we use that here, in the same way that we used a mixin earlier to define the padding in the myModule class, we would use the function name, myCalculationFunction, you'd pass it the parameters, and it would output the return value, which in this case would be this number plus this number, and that adds up to 15. Notice that the CSS units are also being passed in here, and SASS is smart enough to add the numbers and then add the PX back onto it.